about 1.5, 2 minutes away from going live here. Winter bracket final, JW and Georgia Johnson taking on Andrea Koop and Zane Navratil. 1 versus 2, just how they drew it up in the book, Chad. We take a look at our bracket here and how they got here. Koop and Navratil took out Kawamoto and Barr, and we were talking and off camera, and we were talking about that Kawamoto Barr match that you had. Cannot believe that that went 3, because when I looked at it in game 2, Navratil and Koop were up 6-1, and you're like, no. They were up 8-1.
They were up 8-1.
And Kawamoto and Barr came all the way back.
Yeah, Barr just took over. He got really big center of the court, and Navratil and Koop just couldn't keep the ball away from him, and Jade was just there kind of as backup, like, hey, you can't get this one, I'll just drop it back into the kitchen. And then Barr was there again. So, and then they were up, Barr and Kawamoto were up 9-5 in game 3 and ended up losing that one 11-9. So it was a match of runs over there. But like we were talking about before we took a little bit of a break, Navratil and Koop, they're solid, but they have their holes. If you can get them off balance, or if you try making them go for too much, then those weaknesses start being exposed.
Yeah, and what we're seeing on the other side of the ball with Johnson and Johnson, with Georgia and JW, I'm seeing a much improved third shot drop from Georgia Johnson. She hits it so aggressively. It's almost like a half drive, half drop, but she can create such a good angle with it. And what it's doing, it's allowing JW Johnson to come in and poach. And so I think if I'm Navratil and Koop, I want Johnson hitting that third, keeping him back off the kitchen line and not letting Georgia Johnson take advantage of that.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that Koop and Navratil were doing wrong, is that they were trying to play keep away from Deckel, and they're just allowing him to get big and extended.
Right off the bat, Georgia Johnson with a big serve and a unforced error from Navratil, and a 1-0 lead for the Johnsons.
Side up.
He's just so nonchalant.
No,
makes it look easy.
It's smooth. It's coming forward, but just a little late on that one. When the timing shows up.
Wow. I mean, Andrea Koop countering on Georgia Johnson, going right off her hand.
Yeah, that's her power zone right there. I think she's got a much stronger two-handed backhand, and Georgia got a little risky with that one. That's why it floated on it. Koop's going to sit there and look to hammer that two-handed backhand.
1-1-2.
Talk about waiting for an opportunity, Chad. What's Zane Navratil do right there?
No, so they did this. Zane did that 4 or 5 times in the previous match. And I was just about to say, she has to be careful staying in the cross court with Andrea, especially if there's that unnecessary change of direction, which is what that was. And Zane's sitting there looking for that.
Yep. All Georgia was trying to do on that one, on the Navratil Erdney, was change things up.
Yeah.
She didn't have to,
but
she was just trying to change things up.
The unnecessary change of direction there is what is going to kill you against somebody that Erdney's a lot, which Zane does. He moves quickly.
Second server.
Andrea Koop with the put away right there between the legs of JW Johnson.
One, two, two.
Navratil,
Just wide.
Yeah,
it was an ambitious attempt.
Right. Yeah.
But it was just wide. From our angle, it looked like it almost caught the line.
Yeah, and we were all kind of looking and waiting, and even Navratil goes, no, it was out. He was disappointed.
Point.
Koop's not going to miss that ball very many times, if any.
Yeah, there's a little deceptive spin on that from JW. Didn't do a whole lot with it, but at times that ball's going to slide. Similar with that one there, JW's got his feet set, but Zane's balls slide a little bit. Then it gets on you a little faster than you expect.
2-3-1.
Oh, wow.
Second server.
Koop ready for that on the two-handed counter.
Yeah, potentially just getting a little too excited, too big of a backswing on that one, catching it a little late.
Side out.
He hits that ball, Chad, with so much ease, but he's still got a lot of power on it.
Yeah, it's short, it's compact, he stays loose with it, and he focuses on going through the ball. That's why it looks so smooth and effortlessly. It's staying through it, it's not trying to whip it.
Second server. Three, two.
Again, nice short sweep right there.
Yeah, and he chose the right ball to speed up. Zane countered very well, but the thing that JW does exceptionally well is when he counters, he stays through the ball, he's back in the ready position, and he's looking to go again.
Nice ball by Andrea Koop. Again, she read the J.W. Johnson speed up so well right there, Chad.
Yeah, and the good thing that Koop did there was she slid to her right. As soon as she saw JW's reach in, she slid to the right, created separation, and allowed the clearance for that two-handed backhand.
Point.
You're even, Georgia.
3-4-1.
Wow, what an adjustment right there, Chad, off the tape. We talk about all the time is it's a changeup. You're expecting it fast, and you got to make that adjustment to slow ball.
You're expecting it in one location and fast, and then all of a sudden it's different location and slower. So there's that double adjustment on that one. Always tough.
Oh.
That ball on the speed up cross court from Koop. Johnson, JW, that is, trying to tell Georgia that ball's going out.
Yeah, and it's a tough one to lay off of, but you'll find, Georgia's still finding her roots, right? She's still figuring out short court in there, and an attack at the body short court probably going to go out.
Point.
Yeah, and Koop and Navratil, after going down 4-2, rattle off 4 straight to take a 6-4 lead here.
6-4-1.
That's a tough leave right there, too, because that ball's falling quickly. But Navratil, great court awareness, recognizing where he's at.
I actually think even if he let that bounce, Zane's fast enough to get that ball back. So I think that kind of helps in your decision making. It's like, oh, if I let a ball bounce, I can catch up to it.
I'll still go get it. I'll go run it down. Even if I'm behind it, I'll go run it down.
That was a good move by Navratil, but Georgia just reading it and going into the body and handcuffing Navratil.
Point.
Georgia just letting that ball drop a little too much. And again, she's trying to reach that and maybe too far out in front for her to reach.
I'm fine with her trying to speed that up, but the issue of reaching with straight legs, you're not getting underneath that ball. You're going to reach out. You're going to be flat. And anytime you're flat, you're going to speed it up into the net. You got to use the legs. You got to get the paddle head underneath.
4-8-1.
What a reset from Navratil.
Oh.
Same guy. Same guy reset that ball.
That's the tough one. You get this amazing ball back, and then you miss the easy one. You're trying to just like caress it over the net.
And there was that reset you saw in that replay right there, just unbelievably done. And then Georgia Johnson serve. You know, she's got this little flick spin, and it's hard to read because you don't know where the spin's going. Just great hands by Navratil and J.W. Johnson in the middle of that point.
Yeah, and the big thing there from J.W. is, yes, he's being aggressive, but he's not taking big swings. He's getting balls go down. So Koop takes a bigger swing on a lower ball, and that, in order to bring it up, that ball's going to sail deep.
Wow, Johnson able to get on top of that ball and get it down at the feet of Navratil. They were
now we're back at 8.
Minute 15 seconds ago it was 8-4, now it's 8-8.
That's pickleball.
That's it. Wow, I mean, that's Georgia Johnson being so confident. I don't think she thought she was going to hit a winner on any of those. She knew that she was going to get a ball eventually that either her or JW could put away right there.
Yeah, and that is the smart thing on knowing that Koop's looking for a two-handed backhand. Very rarely does she sit forehand. So if you're playing against somebody that's going to sit that two-handed backhand and looking to rip it, if you go right hip to right armpit, which Georgia did twice right there, and then that ball finally popped up, they're coming across and they're shoveling that ball up each time. The right elbow goes up, and then it opens that face up. Whereas if you go anything left side, or you even go center body, that where they can slide and give the separation, you're in trouble. So you almost have to treat it like you're playing a lefty when you're playing against somebody with that strong two-handed backhand.
Yep. And then I'm just saying that we need a camera in the booth so that when you and I get together, we are so animated with what we do. You and I are both like showing stuff like anyone in the world's paying attention to us. It's you and I in here showing each other what we're describing. It's awesome.
It's easier to describe when you're like making the motion as well.
9-8 lead here for Johnson & Johnson. Oh, Navratil gets a little love off the tape right there. He'll take it all day, though.
Yeah, not much you can do with that one, and it's a big enough jump that it kind of over the paddle it goes.
Just too big in the middle right there, and it'll give JW and Georgia Johnson a game point here in game number 1.
Yeah, that's big from JW. Going into the, I mean, just like everybody else, Zane is going to be effective when he's extended. If you go into the body and you jam him, regardless of how good his hands are.
What patience from Georgia Johnson.
Stepping up right there.
Wow, to end it right there like that. Georgia Johnson just coming into her own. Johnson & Johnson take game number 1 here on the winner bracket final over your 1 seed 11-8. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, game number 2 here in this winner bracket final at the APP Chicago Open presented by Lexus.
The APP Chicago Open presented by Lexus. Sponsored by Power Plate, Selkirk, Sunmay, and Pickleball Central.
The Art Institute of Chicago, downtown Chicago. The famous Lions out front. if the Bears are doing well, they put a big Bears helmet on that Lion, to say the least. That helmet.
So I was going to say the helmet's not on very often, right?
That helmet's got a lot of dust on it recently. And being from Chicago, it really depresses me because I was here and lived here in the prime of the Bears. Jim McMahon, Walter Payton, 85 Bears. Still, in my opinion, the best Bears team ever.
Man, you
Kyle
just dated
Solinko,
yourself.
Kyle Solinko, he has to agree with me. Has to agree with me, even though he's from Wisconsin, Packer fan. But we're back here on Championship Court. Johnson and Johnson, Georgia and JW take game one, 11-8 over Andrea Koop and Zane Navratil. Zane Navratil will bring us in here with his serve, 0-0.
Ooh.
A little miscommunication right there from Georgia and JW.
See JW mouthing to himself, that's my ball.
He thinks every ball is his ball.
That's right, Georgia made up for it.
Yep, right there. Georgia Johnson split in the middle right there. Beautifully done.
Short, compact, kind of sold it that she was going down the line. Navratil moved to the backhand, then just rolled back through the middle. That's not the spot.
No, no. So the Zane Navratil forehand right there.
Yeah, that's not the spot right
No.
there. You've got to come a little bit more centralized. Up, outside, right shoulder, not going to work.
Navratil trying to cut that so much, he gets too much on it.
1-1-2.
All square at one.
Side up.
Just a little wide from Georgia, looking to drive that ball down the line behind Navratil.
1-1-1. Second serve.
Navratil taking that ball off his back heels. That's a tough ball to drive when you're leaning back like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Usually we look for something inside the court to drive. When that ball's deep and your weight is on the back foot, you're not going to gain any ground even when you do drive that ball.
Oddly enough, two miscommunications in two quick points there for Navratil and Koop on the miscommunication from Johnson and Johnson. You don't see very often.
Yikes.
Wow. I mean, the ball just kept getting higher and
Yeah.
higher. Eventually, you're thinking JW is going to come in there and put that away.
But, I mean, excellent job by Georgia Johnson right there. She started that fight, got Navratil kind of out of it a little bit, and then JW steps in and starts going after Koop.
Just too good.
Yeah,
Great place.
I was just watching Georgia's positioning there after the two miscommunications. So she's now taking a step back away from the kitchen. She's giving JW a little bit more room to move in front.
Right there, right
Yeah.
on cue. Wow, that's a good finish there down the line from Andrea Koop, but that's a great call, Chad. Seeing her, watch her take, she's taking that step back, giving him that space.
2-2-2.
Yeah, and that's something that you kind of need to do because the guy's going to hover, right? And he's going to step in and pull that trigger when he feels like he can. So if, you know, we used to see it a lot with Matt Wright and Lucy Kovalova. Lucy get her feet stepped on constantly because Matt would come over and reach in and take that ball.
3-2-2.
Oh, that's just a tough ball right there from JW Johnson. He hits such a hard ball, but it's a heavy ball. It almost seems to be gaining pace as it gets to you.
Yeah, and he kind of shaped that a little differently. He had it as a backhand, but it was more on the forehand side, and then took it back behind Navratil.
Oh, wow. That is a shot I have not seen all day from JW Johnson. but it is a perfect time for it.
Yeah, it was a good spot. Just, if anything, a little flat, so it ended up going a little deep.
Just finding that angle. Again, if you're hitting that ball flat and back to the baseline, they're going to get that back. You
Yeah.
got to create an angle here.
2-4-2.
Yep.
Rare miss on the short hop from Georgia Johnson. It is one of her favorite things. She likes taking that off the short hop. It almost feels like she can get a little more pace on it from there.
Yeah, it does help to be able to get a more penetrating dink, but again, if you rush that short hop, you end up missing into the net.
Well, she makes up for the mistake real quickly in a two-handed backhand right there, but a good setup from J.W. Johnson.
Four, 3-1. Second server.
That ball not coming back from the forehand of Zane Navratil.
No, not especially when you're up that
4-3-2.
close. It's kind of a just throw the paddle in some position and hope they hits it.
Yeah.
Georgia. See, now this is what happened on the other side, right? She hit a ball that was probably going out. So now this one, she tries to get out of the way, but because it's into the body again and she hasn't practiced getting out of the way of those balls,
Yep.
now you get stuck.
Another possible out ball because Koop speeding that up cross court.
Yeah, it's cross court. I mean it's going mid chest.
Yeah.
So potentially a little bit to the right side of the back corner there.
And again,
I mean, if it's right shoulder, definitely don't hit it.
yeah, but it's hit right at her, so it's so hard to get out of the way too.
Yeah.
Again, Georgia Johnson's serve coming into play here.
I don't know about over here, but on CC2, I saw so many balls not.
Second server.
Was that out?
Yeah, Koop called it out. You didn't even get an argument or a question out of Johnson. Maybe our eyes are going too, Chad.
I think it
I
could
thought
be.
it was in.
I think it could be. But I saw so many balls over at CC2 where the serve just was not coming up. It was staying below the knees.
Yeah.
Even with spin, it was
Yeah.
just hitting and staying down.
We've had that here too, where a couple balls have been hit, and any kind of spin on it, either top spin or spin off the serve, it's hitting and just flattening
flattens out. Yeah.
3-2.
Yeah, we've had a few ball changes here, thinking it's the ball, and oh my goodness,
Point.
Navratil took a full swing at that. Just
I
wasn't,
mean,
it wasn't there.
it's like a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and then you sit in that, everything looks the same. You get the 70-mile-an-hour changeup. How do you adjust 25 miles an hour?
You can't. What hands from Georgia Johnson. Just handling the pace from Koop and Navratil. She's growing up so quick.
8-3-2.
Yeah, and I mean, excellent job. There's no take back. She's in position, just looking at counter punching, straight back through the ball.
3-8-1.
And it's a 5-point lead here for Johnson and Johnson in the blink of an eye.
Second server.
Another good ball from JW. Again, it's not the power. Like a lot of the times, the spin and the placement is more important than power.
Yep. Service mistake there from Navratil. Gives a quick side out to Johnson and
8-3-1.
Johnson. 8-3 lead. Trying to end this in 2. Move on to Championship Sunday.
I thought Georgia was gonna say, "Hey, big bro, let me show you how it's done," right there. But She wasn't able to go side to side.
You know, she'd let him play.
8-3-2.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Point.
Georgia Johnson just taking over right here. Hey, big bro, jump on my back now. Let's do this.
That's
9-2-2.
this is a tough position for Koop and Navratil, and a tough team to try to hit through. I mean, Georgia's playing so well as far as counter-attacking and just staying compact. You have to move that ball around more. You're not going to be able to hit through them.
See, now it's better at the end of that point. What Navratil and Koop did, they moved the ball a little bit around, right? They played, you know, J.W. Johnson honest to his backhand.
Yeah.
At least created some
10-3-2.
space. Going to Georgia's not working. It's a match point here. What a point here. Koop and Navratil playing defense, fighting for their life there, and they get the side out.
I'm not gonna lie. I was looking to see where that ball was gonna hit Georgia's body, and then it went to behind JW on the backhand side.
3-2-1.
Navratil just holding the paddle face open, accelerating through, dropping the paddle head a little bit, change of direction on it.
Sorry.
Wow. I mean, I thought Navratil had 2 winners on Georgia Johnson. He didn't. She got everything back.
She's putting the paddle in the right position right now. She's tracking where it's at. Oh, another service
Side out.
mistake from Zane.
That'll give Georgia and J.W. Johnson
10-3-1.
match point number 2.
Yep.
Wow. With authority, Georgia Johnson will end it and put her and brother J.W. Johnson in the gold medal match on Sunday, on Championship Sunday, by a score of 11-8, 11-3. They're moving on. Koop and Navratil got some work to do in that bronze medal match if they want to gain that rematch against JW and Georgia Johnson. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll hear from Georgia and JW and what it feels like to punch their ticket to Championship Sunday here at the APP Chicago Open, presented by Lexus.